This next video, made to raise awareness, is supposed to replicate voices in your head. Among the many visual and audio delusions is one in particular that really gets to me: a girl with no eyes who appears at random. The girl with no eyes is apparently very common and reported by many. The following scene is an example of how she usually comes to them, or rather for them.
She is here.
Nowhere is safe from the girl with no eyes, because once she is in your mind, there's nowhere to hide. This is what it's supposed to be like when she finds you. No one knows why so many people have reported seeing the exact same figure. Maybe it's a subconscious manifestation of a common fear we all have, or maybe it's some type of possession that's driving people to madness. If this video is just a simulation, then I can only imagine how terrifying the real thing must be face to face. May 17th, 2006 at 8:12 p.m., the Monterrey Witch of Mexico was caught on video flying just above the Mexican hills. She glides above the ground, just as you would imagine a witch to fly through the air, floating through the sky serenely. There's a good several yards between her and the hills below, with plenty of blue between. After the clear view of her dark shape against the skyline, her profile is shown as a white speck against the green hills as she skates across a canyon. The video goes on for a good 2 minutes, and it doesn't appear to be a hoax. As the being traverses the cliffs, the figure is tall and cylindrical, flying across a very windy canyon, which makes some UFO researchers believe that it can't be normal, it must be paranormal. Diana Perla Chapa, a UFO group leader and researcher from Monterrey and a popular Mexican TV host and UFO investigator, confirms this. Experts say that there is no way something could move so steadily because it's a very windy canyon, she said, speaking at the Mutual UFO Network of Los Angeles conference. While camping out at this haunted castle, a rustling is heard in the forest. Published by Exploring with Fighters, this YouTuber is exploring the abandoned ruins of Liverpool Castle. Being hundreds of years old, these castle ruins are bound to be haunted, and they're about to give the explorer a taste of fear. As he tries to sleep, his dog is alerted to a rustling sound outside their tent.
She's doing a goose impressions. She started doing a goose impressions because there's a weird noise coming towards us.
Noting that an owl has kept him up all night, the explorer was wide awake already, and even more so when the mysterious noise seems to be coming toward them.
An owl has kept me awake most of the night.
While the suspense builds, nothing reveals itself, leaving us to wonder what was lurking outside the explorer's tent. Was it man or beast, or something else? Are you convinced this is a ghost? Captured at 2 a.m. on Redditor Mermaids Have Wi-Fi's friend's grandparents' Ring camera. This one has me guessing. The semi-transparent figure passes by, walking slowly across the front lawn. Its upper half seems to disappear as it continues past. Some think it's just a camera glitch, others think it's concerning. Take a closer look and see for yourself. The Redditor doesn't believe this is a ghost. Her friend is convinced it is, and she wanted to disprove it with Reddit's help. Are these Reddit comments convincing enough? I've gotta admit, this does look like a slow shutter speed situation creating ghosting artifacts, but frankly, if I were these homeowners, I'd rather this be a ghost than an actual human on my property. When there's something angry in your home, it will make its presence known. Published to YouTube by Lainey and Ben in June of 2021, this short scary clip shows their haunted house in action yet again. Lainey is making breakfast and walks over to set the dishes on the table, but the moment she turns her back to the cupboard, it swings wide open and a bottle of ketchup is expelled from it. Lainey catches a glimpse of the paranormal activity, and although she still appears a bit shocked, it's clear she's seen this sort of stuff before. She simply calls out for Ben and then calmly leaves the kitchen.
Ben?
Is the spirit just reminding Lainey not to forget the ketchup, or is this a forewarning? Because a red liquid condiment seems a bit too on the nose. Tell us your theory. What is this poltergeist after? Who's there? Your worst nightmare. Posted by Deadhead Gillies to the Ghosts subreddit. The Redditor says there's something knocking in the walls, and we don't have to take her word for it, because she has video proof. It sounds like someone is knocking insistently at the door, only there's no one there. She says this has continued for 2 months. She's not the only one to have had such an experience. Redditor Ritual Maniac writes in the comments that the same knocking pattern occurred at a house she once lived in, along with other paranormal happenings like voices, doors opening, running, etc. When they moved, everything, including the nightmares and unexplainable bad feelings, all vanished. The Redditor says this knocking wasn't heard initially and just started happening randomly as of late. At one point, when her boyfriend lived there, he even heard laughing and whispering. The Redditor said after sending the videos to her grandmother, a pastor was supposed to come and visit, but of course an ongoing event began earlier this year and prevented that. Some in the comments think it's the pipes, others say it's likely a pesky animal, but myself and many others are leaning towards the paranormal. Game of Onions writes, let him in already. Must be cramped in there, but I wouldn't take that advice. Those who walk the hallowed grounds of historical battlefields never leave empty-handed. YouTube team Memphis Seekers Paranormal explores the grounds where the Civil War Battle of Shiloh occurred, and they meet with a soldier. First, they hear something. That was a strange noise, but it may have been an animal. Later, they place the camera on the ground, and it captures some footsteps that they say weren't theirs. The audio also captures the guys' voices as they spot a figure.
Got me stayed up right on the other side of the right.
Was it whatever they saw in the woods?
And there's something in the woods that is making a lot of racket.
Although the guys saw something that we, as viewers, weren't privy to, the noises alone were creepy enough for me to have called off this investigation before it even began. Sidestep Adventures is surprised to actually find what he's been looking for out in the Georgia woods.
You stepped on it? Oh wow. Here it is.
Another person's grave. They carefully reassemble it and respectfully read her name out loud.
Yep, here it is. Sacred to the memory of Mrs. Jane. And died November 3rd, 18 43.
Under the heavy marker, they find a crushed bouquet of flowers left by a loved one. The petals are in excellent condition and largely retain their color. Finding fresh flowers under a more than 100-year-old grave is already weird enough, but then Sidestep Adventures reads more and realizes who this Mrs. Jane is to him.
And Stacy Duckworth and Samuel were my great-great-great-grandparents. So she was actually a half-sister to my great-great-grandfather.
So let's recap. He literally stumbles across an extremely concealed grave in the middle of the woods. Fresh flowers are underneath despite the grave being from 1843. Then he discovers it's a long-lost relative and has to admit that this seems like it could be fate.
Well, we did find it somehow. I tell you, if you hadn't stepped on it, we wouldn't have.
It's almost as if the spirit of his ancestor was waiting to be found. What would you do if you heard this in the forest? YouTuber Moto Owens was out biking when a series of mysterious shrieks set off alarm bells.
Hello?
The shrieks certainly don't sound human or animal, but some in the community say it sounds like a cougar, and then the snapping of sticks and twigs seems way too close for comfort. Cougar or skinwalker, I think it was a good idea to get out of there as fast as possible. A supposedly real ghost sighting was caught on dashcam video by VBO Life while exploring one of the most haunted places in Delhi. It happens fast, so watch closely or you'll miss the scary stuff. An apparition appears in front of them and they get freaked out, or so it seems. Slow it down and at 8 minutes and 22 seconds you'll see the spirit is supposed to be in front of the car, but the very bottom of its dress accidentally clips into the hood. So while this video's creepy, I can also safely say it's not real. Did this news clip just capture a real-life teleportation in action? Redditor Cat Daddy shared this clip that was captured on the news. Watch the background closely.
Durante el entrenamiento y cuando firman el juramento que ellos están confirmando que no van a ser está adentro.
Did you see it? The dude just blipped in out of nowhere. It truly looks like a portal just opened in the air and he walked through it. Nothing is altered in the foreground or background to make me suspect that this clip was altered, but there are varied opinions in the comments.
Durante el entrenamiento y cuando firman el juramento que ellos están confirmando que no van a ser
I agree with Joe Films. A morph transition can make it appear as though the speaker hasn't stopped talking, but elements in the background become distorted. In fact, Redditor Julian shares one of those elements. They didn't smooth out the reflections in the glass, seen here. Although I think this mystery has been solved, I kind of wish it hadn't been. While investigating this demon house, YouTube team KBC Cazadores de Fantasmas encounters a real-life demon. In the wilderness, they start to get a wild EMF reading. Then they break out a thermal camera and capture this.
Grace.
Grace, cuidado, Grace.
Oh? De mountain heat of the storm boys in New York.
And they later captured the devil in their spirit box session.
O diabo. Falou certo? Mano. Fica esperto, filho.
They also take a photo in which something spooky is captured. These are just the grounds of the demon house. I feel that there's definitely something haunting this property, but we'll have to tune into the final episode of the series to find out. Home to the so-called Black Monk, 30 East Drive is one of the most haunted places in the United Kingdom. YouTube team The Ouija Brothers are here to investigate, or at least do a sleep study. As they're asleep in one of the rooms, a noise is heard. And later the noise again, and this time watch the chest of the man in the bed. It looks like someone pressed down on his chest. The YouTubers say that this is the only time this movement happens in over 2 hours of footage. Later, while wandering the house, they hear a very loud, unexplained sound.
And then I'm standing in here, and it felt like it was in my face.
What was that?
I had that very.
Did you hear how loud that bang was?
Here it is again from another camera.
And then I'm standing in here, and it felt like it was in my face.
What was that?
The banging is heard throughout the house.
That's incredible. Well, probably
What was that?
the most.
Hello? Stay.
I don't need more convincing. This place is clearly full of terror, and it seems to love to wreak havoc. YouTuber Lloyd's House of Horrors believes his son and daughter have seen a ghost.
Hello guys, I'm here with my kids, and I'm in the room, and they called me and told me that they seen something. Where did you see it, Nia? What? Where, in the washroom? What, you gonna show me?
Yeah.
Okay, come show me this, here.
One of his kids leads him to the washroom, and when he does, this happens.
And here.
Okay, show me.
Oh,
Holy! Nazir! Nazir!
Did the ghost just imprison Lloyd's son? While watching this clip over again, I noticed there seems to be something behind the door at this point.
Like a nice clown.
The door appears to rebound a bit when the boy opens it wider. Whether what's behind it is a ghost or a person is anyone's guess though. An investigator from the Liberty Independent Ghost Hunters of Texas is exploring the haunted old Lavaca jail when they capture some scary stuff happening right in front of their camera.
What the? Are you for real?
A paranormal mist fills the room, and it's not his breath because it comes from off to the side, not in front of him. Also, at 48 seconds, the colors dim and the camera blurs as if trying to focus on a ghostly presence. The Texas ghost hunter is freaked out and doesn't stick around to see what comes after the paranormal mist and ghost orbs. I've seen a lot of paranormal investigations before, and something about this one looks real. I think he was really scared and had a genuine paranormal experience. Submitted to the Chills Narrator subreddit by FitEntry2562. This redditor wrote, "Lightning without thunder." Let's watch their submission and see what they're talking about.
I just thought it out in time slot by me. I did not know I could just wait to build it back home.
He's already seen fraud and things. Killing the light.
There was certainly some debate about this video in the comments. Zoidberg GE thinks that this is heat lightning, while Tillman117 wrote, "There's no such thing as heat lightning. The reason why you can't hear it is because it's simply too far away. The light from lightning can travel a very large distance as the sound cannot, considering clouds can be thousands of feet in the air, and the distance you are from that cloud currently can just mean it's too far away for you to hear it."
stop going have a few added fun, but it's on and show that to their grasses and it's like a fruit like but so out hard on that one. You thought that some working that and does it not some green that they always become a one makes it you think of big thing.
So it seems like both sides are at least in agreement that this mysterious storm has an explanation, but nevertheless, what do you think this is? Let me know in the comments. Don't leave your fun up to an app. It might take you on a journey to your demise. Published to TikTok by Stephen Donovan. He explains that he was using the Randonautica app to direct him on a random adventure. For those who are unfamiliar with Randonautica, the app delivers a set of local coordinates supplied by a quantum random number generator. In doing so, users are encouraged to explore the unexpected. Steven's coordinates certainly delivered. Here's what happened. Randonautica sent these two on a dirt road through an abandoned ghost town. Creepy mannequins are standing in the windows of the empty wooden buildings. The mountain roads take them past empty cars parked on the shoulder. However, no one appears to be in the area. They pass a sign that reads private property, but they ignore it and continue up the steep, narrow road. It's getting dark and they are now on foot. The pin is pulled up and they are getting close to their destination. That's when they see it.
But we had the pin pulled up, we were so close to it, and this happened. I don't know how to explain this.
Something rolls down the hill from a broken structure, and in that structure they see what looks like a melted face. They take this as their cue to leave. TikToker Rachel Chun surmises, watch those cars be the ones left behind by the randonauts that never left. Steven notes that he deleted the app after this misadventure. After this, can you blame him? A while back, I analyzed a video of a weird spider with a strange growth under its abdomen. Well, I did some more research and found this video, which finally explains what it was: an egg sac. First, they come out one by one, and within less than 2 minutes, hundreds have burst out. Their mother patiently stands guard until they are all free and then leaps away, leaving behind her brood in the hopes that they will scatter to every room in the household and successfully grow to full size. A YouTuber named Sanjay Key Angel is traveling the countryside in India when he comes across a phantom figure dressed in an all-white shroud that completely covers its face. It pays them absolutely no attention as it crosses the road with no lantern in hand. Moments ago it was wandering in complete darkness, yet it moves as though it had somewhere else to be. How it's able to find its bearings in total darkness, with its face covered, is beyond me. Listen to this part and translate if you speak the language, so that we all know what they were thinking at the time. Also, tell me whether or not they sound like they are really scared. Also, tell me whether or not they sound like they really are scared, or just acting. A YouTuber in Italy named Alessio Rubes is experimenting with a homemade Ouija board that apparently works far better than he thought.
C'è qualcuno che vuole parlare con me?
His ghost hunting app goes off at the exact moment his dog goes on full alert, and then things get scarier from there.
C'è uno? Oh! No, raga. Lo sarà a vedere, raga?
Alessio leaves the room to investigate, and his dog literally screams at something in the hallway. He turns around to find the light 2 rooms over is mysteriously moving on its own. He spends a moment calming down the poor pup, who is now cowering under a chair and looks very scared indeed, further lending legitimacy to this already creepy enough video. When he goes to investigate the light, he finds it still steadily moving. I don't see how you can fake that kind of reaction from a dog, so I think this ghost sighting video is real. This video, taken from a YouTuber named Finder Lurker, is from 2005. He is certain of a paranormal entity frequenting an area of the house that no one uses, so he sets up a camera and leaves. In the beginning of the video, you can see these 2 small eyes in the background, which is definitely weird, but it's nothing compared to what happens next. Arms appear from all sides, and then this head pokes out from around the corner. Its eyes white pinpricks of light and nothing more. One arm stays above them as if waving hello. It quickly disappears from wherever it came from, and then the camera begins to shake, eventually becoming dislodged and toppling over. It does feel a little too set up in my opinion, but whether all of this was an actual ghost or just some kids messing around is ultimately up to you to decide. A YouTuber named Isaiah Fleming makes a YouTube video of himself cleaning his dirty room as motivation to actually get the job done and over with. During the course of this cleaning, the television turns on by itself, which I guess could be explained by accidentally stepping on the remote or something, and the door opens by itself, which is caught on 2 different angles and much harder to explain. The room is looking much cleaner after 2 hours, and he takes a break to go do something else. This next part almost has to be edited because it's literally impossible. Okay, so the door opens at 11:41 at night, and this time, without showing any breaks in the timestamp, a childhood stuffed bear disappears from view. Isaiah comes back to find the television changes to one of the cameras he has just set up in the other room. It looks like he is trying to use his remote control, but it's useless. Nothing is there then. With a flash of static, the bear is somehow sitting in the chair. He can't believe what he is witnessing at first, but as he looks to the floor, slowly realizing his house is haunted, he misses this eerie figure watching him through his own screen. The Southern Arizona Ghost and Paranormal Society teams up with fellow ghost hunters, the Mission Creeps, to investigate the ever-so-haunted Oliver House in Bisbee, Arizona. 26 people are said to have lost their lives here over the years, the most famous being a man named Nat Anderson, whose wife disposed of him with 2 rounds after learning of an affair. Now gathered in the historic bedroom of the Oliver House, they call upon Nat Anderson and possibly get a response.
Somebody told us that Nat Anderson was here. Is Nat still here?
This is one of the clearest paranormal voices I've ever heard. It sounds distinct yet in the same room as them. I'm wondering if this was edited in, and I'm especially looking for the opinion of any sound technicians. Here it is one more time. Maybe it's just me, but I'm detecting a hint of sarcasm in the voice, so maybe it was Nat Anderson being funny by saying he wasn't there, or maybe it was a different ghost who is tired of this question altogether. Ohio's most haunted house is aptly known as Shadowman Manor. Stephen Dillon from YouTube channel Haunted Nights head to the 19th century home to investigate. They request some communication, and the spirits oblige.
Yeah.
A little later, they hear a humming noise.
You hear that? I couldn't tell what that was. Yeah.
Can't tell where it came from though.
Hello?
Then, while they're listening back to a recording, they hear a thud live.
What was that? You didn't hear that thud? Like in this room over here? I couldn't tell where it came from. There was a lot of movement though. That is why, right? A lot of movement.
Down in the basement, another unexplained bang is followed by a disembodied voice.
That was like a voice. Do you know what year it is? Is it 2023 for you?
The activity in this house is subtle but chilling. I wouldn't want to pull an overnighter in this haunted place. You never know what might attach itself to you here. Sometimes paranormal explorations turn up horrific discoveries. YouTuber Mo Sargi uncovered several in this abandoned hospital. While walking through the hospital's hallways, he comes across defunct tech and discarded medical supplies.
The younger people that watch my videos, which is a small percentage, yeah, this is what we would watch and open up applications and stuff. It's pretty cool. Oh, ew, we got blood covered gloves over here. This is disgusting.
This room looks like it's been staged by someone before Mo.
We got blood everywhere. Holy jeez. Okay, I don't want to be in this room. That's gross.
On the wall in red is the word leave. Then in the next room.
That a body bag? No, that's not a body bag. I thought that was a body bag for a sec. Jesus Christ. No, that's just a mattress. It's so strange though. It's got like these pipes coming down from it.
He breaks out the UV light to check out the fluids on this hospital bed.
As you guys can see, I do have my UV light over here, and this is all blood. Holy shit. This is literally, there's blood everywhere in this room, man. This is unbelievable. I did not expect this. I don't know why there's so much blood here, but look at it. Look at how it illuminates.
Well, we can't be sure that this is that red liquid of life. This place is by far one of the creepiest abandoned places I've ever seen. Parsnips and Parsimony is a wholesome family vlog, YouTube channel, and not where you'd normally think to go to get your daily dose of horror. But in one vlog, they encounter something on their window that's pitch black and looks full of pus. I think the bottom might be moving during these two scenes, but it could also be the shaky camera.
And I have no idea what it is. That is what it looks like.
Anyway, they decide the only way to diagnose this find is to slice it open, but no answer lays in its oozing black insides. Is this a plant, animal, alien, or what? If you remove mold or something for a living, let me know what's going on here. The foreign substance breaks into slimy black clumps with no shape and no smell, or at least none they remark on. To this day, they have no idea if this was mold or not, and describe it only as a slimy something. If this is what the mold growing on the outside looks like, imagine what's on the other side of the walls. A YouTuber named Tommy Case is in the basement of an abandoned house when his flashlight crosses over someone wearing an all black and white stretched out face mask. Tommy Case runs away, but soon he has to turn his flashlight back on if he ever hopes to find the exit. Instead, he finds the same person again, but this time he manages to escape without looking back. Since the person just stands there and never reaches out for him, I think this is almost definitely a skit, but a well done one all the same. While sitting around playing video games, little did this guy know he was about to be in one. Published by C. Sano Act in November of 2011, this guy was hanging out in the living room when he heard something from the kitchen. Getting up to check it out, he doesn't seem to see anything of substance, but something of substance knocks him to the floor. He's dragged across the room and out of sight. Is this ghost hinting that he should get his homework done? Or does this house have a serious poltergeist in residence? It'd be hard to ignore after an incident like this. This Ukrainian dashcam captures one of the highest resolution highway ghost encounters I have ever seen. Watch this part and tell me what is being said here if possible. I would really like to have a legitimate translation of this potentially supernatural message. The driver speeds off after she falls back and disappears. It does not stop until they are back to civilization. This professional quality of this video makes me wonder if this is from a European movie or television show. If not, it almost looks like a well-constructed hologram. I could find no other source for this video, so be sure to let me know if this is amateur footage or something from mainstream media. Someone's life was taken here, and a shadow person remains. Is it the person who passed, or the person who ended their life? Published in December of 2021, Drana and Mike's paranormal adventures entered this house and got more than they bargained for. While exploring the home, the spirit speaks to them. The voice sounds like it's whispering, "Help me out." As they continue to communicate with the spirits in the darkness, Drana feels something touch her on the shoulder.
Do you know any of our names?
Did you just touch me on my shoulder?
Someone said me.
Later, in another room, Drana and Mike are talking with someone off camera, and the camera scans from one side of the room to the other. This is when you see it.
On the thrill. Wait here, officer the mic filters.
In the next room over, the shadow appears. It looks like it's ducking behind the door, and it disappears in an instant. Is there a lost soul in this haunted home? And if so, who does it belong to? I know I wouldn't go back there after seeing this, but I do really think this place needs further investigation. Sarah Presley of Meet the Presleys apparently has caught a ghost on camera who is trying a little too hard to better know her and her family. It's past midnight when her son Josh turns off the lights. A ghost orb appears in the middle of the video at 2 minutes and 8 seconds, and then again briefly at 2 minutes and 13 seconds. When he crosses the room on his phone, the orb moves away from him. I think this light is from the screen of his phone. His mom, on the other hand, is creeped out beyond belief and pretty worried. Overall, I'm not sure if this video is paranormal or not and need your help to decide. A YouTuber known as Mr. Carter experiences some strange activity in his bedroom, starting with a lamp that crackles with an abundance of electricity in the air, possibly paranormal energy. And this chair moves by itself as a burst of orbs becomes visible. Is something pulling a string under the bed? Probably not. The antenna falls over and a barely visible orb floats over the radio itself. The chair lurches in the other direction, followed by something breathing. It's very faint, so tell me if you want to hear it. I'm going to have to go with a poltergeist on this one, but tell me what you think. This convincingly real ghost sighting was caught on a Ring doorbell camera, tilted at an interesting perspective that shows us more than most other scary doorbell cam videos ever do. The mysterious figure appears from nothingness, which is scary enough, but what makes one of the creepiest things ever caught in the history of doorbell cameras is how the apparition continues to walk down the street for 37 seconds before disappearing again. Feel free to prove me wrong, but this could actually be a real ghost sighting caught on camera. Freaky, right? While exploring the Fairy Plantation in Virginia, disturbing paranormal evidence was captured by Redditor WTCW Paranormal, who runs a YouTube channel of the same name. First, the team captured some audio evidence using a paranormal device.
Where are you from? Oh.
It sounds like there's evil present. Then, as they continue exploring, audible footsteps are heard. Later, when they're using dowsing rods to communicate with the spirits, something off-screen communicates louder. To me, the noises add credence to the first message the guys received. They are in the fiery depths below, and they may just be trapped there. What do you do when you find a mysterious mutant creature? Cook it up and eat it, of course. Well, at least that's the decision made by these individuals. Watch if you dare.
Oh, ya teman-teman. Tuh. Oke, saya dapat. Ini Raja Jin. Ya. Alhamdulillah, saya udah taklukkan.
They pull this strange-looking guy out of a cave. It looks like a root vegetable with eyes. Then they cook it. Now it's time to eat.
Harumnya. Oke, teman-teman, lanjut makan. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Kita makan bagian perutnya dulu. Bismillah.
Some in the comments say it looks like a mandrake root, and it kind of does. But those eyes, though, I don't think I could eat anything that was looking at me that way. This couple is dedicated to, as their description states, the search of paranormal activity in places with terrifying histories, as is sometimes possible when investigating. Ghosts have followed investigators to their homes, and they believe someone they made contact with on a previous investigation did just that. On January 21st, 2021, they hosted a live stream to document what they believed was a haunting in their home. Hoping to document evidence and find answers, they invited the public to join on their session. The first half of the investigation seems to produce little results, but something rather disturbing appears as they venture down the stairs. Through a glazed window overlooks the stairs, the figure of a woman can be seen staring towards the camera. At first glance, it can be easily mistaken for a painting, but when inspecting it closer, you can see there is actual 3D depth to it, something a painting would be impossible to have. The figure looks either like a woman with long dark hair, or someone wearing a robe. To further prove it is not a painting, the same window is shown a few minutes later and the figure is gone. Furthermore, they venture outside to show the other side, and it is several feet above the ground, making it impossible for anyone to get up there without a ladder. Nothing around the window resembles the figure, as it has simply vanished. As they descend further down the stairs, an orb can be seen flying fast across the top left corner of the screen. Once they reach the bottom step, a loud, low exhale can be heard.
La esfera.
The sound is too low pitched to be either of the couple, as we could hear them breathe beforehand and it doesn't match. It is also possible it was the sound of something sliding, although we cannot see what or if anything moves. Unfortunately, the remainder of the video becomes uneventful and other apparent orbs can be easily explained. For example, while they are filming a mirror, a glowing orb-like spectacle can be seen flying around. However, when the camera's light is turned off, it disappears, meaning it was simply a glare from the light itself. It's terrifying to imagine something becoming attached to you and following you back to your home. It's one of the risks when going on investigations, meaning it is not for the faint of heart. It also shows how there are more than just the physical dangers on these adventures, with even professional investigators such as Ghost Adventures suffering from severe states of paranormal oppression and even possession. It goes as a warning for those who decide to take up the cause for themselves. Take heed and be aware of what you are getting into, even if you are a skeptic or non-believer. Respect the locations you are visiting. Jared Costa hears this eerie buzzing noise over his Southern California home at 5 in the evening. He looks above for helicopters but sees nothing. Take a listen and tell me if this sounds like a helicopter or not. I think it sounds like nothing of the sort, but at the same time, I don't have a better explanation to offer. Commenters from Palm Springs to La Mesa all claim to have heard the exact same noise. Years later, the noise remains an unsolved mystery. Take a look at this quick clip of another possible shadow person in someone's basement and tell me if you think it's real. If you think it's computer effects, then please tell me exactly what clued you in. I personally see valid arguments on both sides. Here's a scary basement we should all probably get out of. Published to YouTube by an everyday Canadian in April of 2016. The Canadian says in the clip he heard a banging in the basement that wasn't the washer or dryer. His kids are asleep upstairs, and he's freaked out about the sounds coming from below. As he heads downstairs to the unfinished basement, you hear immediately what he's talking about. A loud bang in the darkness is heard off to his right. Still, he continues to descend. After turning his light on, he scans the room. The light catches a small toy shopping cart in one corner of the room that's apparently not supposed to be there, judging by the man's reaction. The little cart then starts moving on its own before zooming across the room towards him.
What the was that? What the
This is where the video ends abruptly. We hope that the everyday Canadian made it out alive. An unnamed European castle is the subject of investigation on a ghost hunting YouTube channel called Paranormal Mystery. They are hastily setting up a CCTV system for the evening's investigation when they realize the battery is being drained from all of them really fast. But right before the cameras power down, they manage to capture this ghost on CCTV.
Tell me, you got it.
A ghost walks by and dissipates before it reaches the last step. I don't know if this is computer editing, but the way it slowly shrinks and then goes away is more complex than a simple fade-out shot. This video was taken in 2008, so the video quality is actually quite good and still holds up to this day. Their surprised reactions make me think this could be real. Is there someone hiding out of sight in this wreckage? Published by PH Red Fox, Yoon Sai-won is exploring an abandoned house in Korea when he hears this sound.
안녕하세요.
Is it an animal? A dog? He breaks out his EMF meter, which starts going haywire. He says it's not useful here because they're at the location's deepest point.
이제는 무의미. 여기 가는 깊숙한 데 와버려가지고.
Using facial recognition software, a scary face is recognized where there seems to be no one. It's recognized again, closer to him this time. Later, while using a spirit box, Sai-won gets the fright of his life. A bang is heard coming from someone unseen. A short while later, he is visited again by the spirit. But he sees nothing, and no one amongst the mess. Is Sai-won being stalked? And if so, by what? YouTube channel KBC Cazadores de Fantasmas investigated the site of a reported unidentified flying object landing.
Tá vindo a mata, João. Uau.
Não, não é bicho não. Nunca vi bicho não, seus barulhos não.
They come across a burning ember. Was someone recently here? Shortly after, they see something watching them.
Tá lá agora. Tá lá, vermelho. Mano, tem alguma coisa ali.
Irmão, tô vendo.
Não, mas pera aí, mano, ela tá focando.
Pedro. João, é um olho, João.
They quickly grow frightened.
Pedro, olha ali pra baixo, Pedro. Cadê a gente? Correu pra cá.
Vira pra baixo, mano. Mano, tá mudando de forma, mano.
They find nothing there, but as they're about to call it a day, they hear something again.
Olha o que é isso?
And then they leave us to guess what's next. I think they were being stalked, but I don't think their stalker was human. We'll have to tune into the next episode to find out. Are there paranormal happenings recurring in your home? This YouTuber can relate. Published to YouTube by Youngboy Lloyd in March of 2020, Lloyd asks viewers for help as he believes there's a ghost in his home. He shows video proof across a series of 3 clips. The first part shows him watching something on TV when a plant falls over on its own accord and rolls off the entertainment center. When Lloyd moves to pick it up, it falls over again and he gets scared off by something unseen. In the next clip, he takes action, burning sage to get rid of the ghostly presence, and as he does so, the chair at the end of the table starts moving. Lloyd doesn't notice at first, so the ghost forces him to, aggressively flinging the chair onto its side. In the last video, Lloyd says he's not going to allow a ghost to take over his house. As he's talking, a cabinet door opens behind him in the next room. A pot on the counter can be seen falling to the floor. Lloyd jumps up from his seat and tells the ghost to leave.
That thing my one with you.
Did the ghost listen? I don't think so. A YouTube channel called The Real Revealed goes to Sanjay Van, one of the most haunted woods in all of India. To top it off, they decide to wait until 3 a.m. before ghost hunting. I'm not so sure about the supposed first encounter though. They say this is the sound of a spirit, but I think it's just the cameraman breathing.
वैसा कोई दिखा ऊपर की तरफ देखा हूँ मैं एक बार
वैसे आप लोग अगर ये कैमरे में
The next voice, however, sounds much different and I agree could be paranormal. It sounds distant, almost like a radio, but they're in the middle of nowhere and wouldn't get reception out here. Translate what is being said by them if you can.
लगातार इधर से उधर मूव कर रहा है क्योंकि लाइट्स में हमें
I may not know what they're saying, but I do see this light appear as soon as this strange voice is heard. It's probably a bug, but if it's not, then this is a coincidence worth mentioning. The voice trails off a short while later, and they aren't able to hear it again or find the source. I think they probably really did make contact with the supernatural, but I will reserve my final verdict until after someone is able to translate this video. This Saudi Arabian YouTuber decided to do some urban exploring in 2018. The property looks long abandoned, and they are forced to explore only by flashlight. Despite the creepy feel of the place from the very start, the men brave it out and continue exploring. It starts to appear as though the men are being watched, and on multiple occasions they check their surroundings to make sure they are all alone. It turns out their instincts are correct, as they capture what they claim is a witch. It definitely appears to be someone dressed in all black robes, with their face fully covered. I believe someone might have actually been living on the property, and they wanted to scare them away. Or do you think the YouTuber was correct, and this was an actual witch? A ghost hunting team led by paranormal investigator Lavina goes exploring a haunted chapel in Dixon, Oklahoma, or they try to at least. Getting into the haunted place is not as easy as it would seem.
What the?
She went to open that door and it come back on her.
At 42 seconds, one of the investigators opens the door a crack and it slams back with an unreasonable amount of force. Something from the other side, something paranormal perhaps, does not want them to go any further. They take the hint and don't stay for much longer, but apparently something has no problem opening up their door and coming with them for the ride home, as evidenced by this paranormal activity caught on their ghost meter equipment.
Is there a speaker following us?
Oh my.
Their paranormal equipment flips out when she gets stern with the supernatural.
You need to leave now.
He said no.
Lavina must have asked too many questions because soon she goes into a trance-like state and begins to nod even though she was very active and alert moments ago. She stares at them with an expression they do not like or recognize. As they wrestle the ghost meter out of her hands, her eyes are not how they've ever seen before.
Lavina.
Give me
We
that.
gotta go. Look, we need to go.
Give me that.
We get out of here.
Give me that thing.
Even she does not recognize herself. Tell me if you think they're acting or not.
You see it? Oh my eyes are like glowing.
Like a bloodshot.
I am more skeptical, except faking this part doesn't explain the door slamming shut by itself, or the ghost meter responding to their specific questions in real time. With that in mind, I think this paranormal investigation might be real. The evidence was probably not worth it in the long run, considered they may have inadvertently forged a spiritual attachment to something beyond the grave. There is a church in Brazil where many have reported hearing screams and seeing dark shadowy smoke. A priest is said to have passed away here. YouTube team Fatos e Mysterios heads to this haunted church to investigate. Inside, they find an altar.
Olha esse altar. Oco, né? Será que tem algum túnel aqui embaixo, mano?
While near the altar, they hear this strange sound.
No meio do caminho teve
Isso da fé.
And later, they spot him.
É sério, cara, tem roupa ninja. Entra. Não. É sério, cara.
É isso aí, Alan. Opa.
He is kneeling at the altar with a candle lit. As the crew comes closer, something startles them.
Porra, é isso, cara? Oxe, tu é doido, mano? Tu viu isso aí, cara? Tu viu, mano?
What was that? I'm not sure, but it doesn't scare the crew away entirely, and they end up encountering the priest one last time.
Esquisito, cara. Opa, aqui. Como isso aqui é tenebroso, pô. Irmão, daquilo ali, mano. Misericórdia. Ali.
What would you do if you saw this figure in a dilapidated, abandoned church?
Irmão, daquilo ali, mano. Misericórdia. Ali. Tu viu, mano?
To me, the figure appears too solid to be an apparition, but that begs the question, what is it doing here in the darkness? Coupled with the creepy sounds, its presence is more than disturbing. Look out the window between the blinds to see what Laurie Smith claims she sees every night, the fearsome cryptid known only as the Dog Man. Laurie's fearless cat always looks out the window when it comes around, ready to take the Dog Man head on, unafraid to stare back into its glowing yellow eyes. Alright, I will admit that I was 100% ready to disprove this video. I knew that this was just the mirror image of the cat's eyes reflecting back due to a weird camera angle, but then I got to this part at 1 minute and 55 seconds and knew I was wrong. But then I got to this part at 1 minute and 55 seconds and knew I was wrong. Watch very closely. She gets the cat's attention. The cat's head turns.
Kitty, come here, Kiki girl.
1 second later, at 1 minute and 56 seconds, the cat is looking the other way, and yet the eye remains staring straight ahead. Fear Hides Here, published to YouTube in July of 2021, this investigative team encountered something sinister. While investigating in broad daylight, the crew only just enters the creepy abandoned house when a scary loud racket is heard.
Mau cheiro insuportável.
Pelo amor de Deus. Mas nem chegamos aqui, o que foi isso?
Something is thrown against the wall in another room and sounds like it breaks apart. In one room, the investigators break out an EMF sensor, which starts beeping dramatically when it's held up toward one part of the ceiling.
Cara, será que dá pra olhar aqui em cima aqui, ó? Bom, parei.
One of the crew boosts another up to the crawl space in the ceiling to see what's triggering the device. It looks like the crawl space was being lived in at one point, as a pair of shoes and a book or pamphlet is up there amongst the soot and garbage. As they realize the book is a diary, banging is heard in the next room. Something is opening and closing the door.
Tá cheio de nome, mano.
Caramba, cara.
Que foi isso, cara?
Não sei, foi só pegar isso aqui, ó.
Olha aqui a porta, cara. Olha a porta.
Nossa, velho. Que isso, mano?
It looks like the hidden figure doesn't want that diary to be read. The cameraman checks outside, but there's nothing. A short while later, another bang is heard, and that's when the diary spontaneously combusts. Cameraman is holding the diary when a corner of the paper catches fire. He throws it to the ground in surprise.
Ô, vamos ficar esperto, porque aqui é eternite, mano. Se vai alguma coisa.
Olha lá, ali, ó, tá caindo ali, ó.
Caramba, cara. Ei, ô, o negócio. Oxe, velho.
Jogou fogo do nada?
When he picks it back up, a glass breaks in the next room.
Nossa, cara.
Cara, o negócio começou a pegar fogo aqui do nada.
Chega atrás, não, menino.
Tem uns símbolos aqui, ó.
Ali, ó.
tá escrito aí em volta desse símbolo?
Causing him to throw it down again. When they gain the courage to pick it up again, another bang is heard, although its source remains unseen.
Tinha Lúcio Te Adoro por aqui. Toma, filho. Cara.
Oi, que é isso, velho? Puta que pariu.
Nossa, mano. As abelhas.
Mas será que... Nossa, mano.
They enter another room, clearly afraid of what's going on around them and the entity that they've made angry.
Sai da porta, espera se esconder um pouco, velho.
Que jeito, cara? Aqui, o negócio tá caindo aqui, velho. Aqui, ó.
Aqui é laje, vem aqui, aqui é laje. Vem pra cá.
Puta que pariu, a casa vai cair, mano.
Feio, a gente ficou... Vai ficar preso aqui um tempo, mano.
Later, they are simply standing in a room capturing video when a fire lights beneath one crew member's feet unbeknownst to him.
E agora, velho?
Tá pegando fogo aí, feio.
Another runs towards him and pulls him away, and the fire goes out on its own. For the grand finale, they enter the main room, and one of the crew appears to see something in a gap in the roof. A scary shadow leaves the gap as something breaks, causing the crew to vacate the premises ASAP.
Caraca, feio.
Mano, vamos como é que nós... E agora, cara? Ali, ó. Puta que pariu. Nossa, mano, que é isso, velho? Vai, sai, sai.
What was in that diary? Something incriminating? We'll never know because the spirit doesn't want us to. Don't look behind you. This scary video is trending in the Arabic-speaking YouTube community. After witnessing something terrifying, this man flees to his car, but that something is there waiting for him. The creepy video, originally posted to TikTok by elkakoi.tv, also reveals what initially scared the man.
Still.
But as we already know how it ends, the man clearly has nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. If I were him, I'd be getting the heck out of that house ASAP. While staying overnight at the Old City Jail in Bridgeport, Illinois, YouTuber Kalani Ghost Hunter and his wife Savannah immediately feel creepy vibes.
Was inside of here, and it's like a whistle.
Yeah, I kind of heard that too.
This jail is reputed to house a demon, and Savannah feels it touch her.
Jump. I feel like something kind of brushed their finger across my face, but then I thought maybe it could be a bug, and you can see me jump because it felt like a finger. It did not feel like a bug, so.
As they later record a conversation with the demon, they receive a strange response on their recording device.
Oh, it literally said it touched your face.
Oh my god.
Later, they ask the demon to reveal himself.
Can you show yourself to me, please? Can you walk through that door?
On the count of 3, if you're a demon.
The whole thing?
In my opinion, that certainly is a yes, and I think this demon may be reaching over from the other side, likely for dark and nefarious purposes. A driver in Singapore thinks they have a clear lane ahead when something to the right startles them badly enough to make them lay on their horn. The pale outline of a woman appears to be perfectly balanced on the center divider. While this could just be a person trying to cross a busy road, the driver is convinced that they've seen a ghost. Even if this is a person and not a spirit, I really don't know why they would choose to cross this section of the road. Aside from heavy traffic, there's really nothing but a tall hill on the other side, and no discernible buildings of any kind. After experiencing paranormal activity in her home, Beth Ann Thorson bought some Nest cameras. Then she captured these strange flashes, which she shared on Facebook. The flashes are seen again in a second video. Some in the comments suggest they could be flashing in Morse code, but after checking with a military friend of the family, the couple nixed that theory. Beth Ann also checked her phone's providers, potential faults, and updates, but nothing explains why the flashing occurred, and it's particularly alarming that it happened on each phone individually. Many in the comments believe the spirits are trying to communicate with them. Others think they're just letting them know they're there. Well, my first thought is that it could be an Amber Alert, which would impact all phones in the area. I agree that it may be some form of communication from the beyond through the phone's energy. Whatever it is, it's highly unsettling. An urban exploration channel called Backyard Exploration has caught some scary stuff on video after taking a camera to an abandoned St. Louis mall. These scary moments caught on camera while exploring a dark movie theater in the mall have people wondering if this was a ghost, a glitch, or something else.
Horror movies. Nice.
The colors become scrambled at 9 minutes and 3 seconds, and again 4 seconds later, this time accompanied by an unnatural noise. I think this part was probably edited as a joke because he is looking at horror movie posters shortly before it happens. At least that's what I think. Does this video look paranormal to you? A family's CCTV camera captured this mysterious creature outside their home. It looks to me like a little goblin. Its creeping, hunched over movement is unnerving. It doesn't do anything remarkable, but skulks out of sight. Is it a rake? A house elf? I agree with Orlando. It definitely looks like this.